You're listening to the Real Elevation podcast. I'm your host, Mike Hendricks, and here we discuss topics on personal fitness, well-being, and elevation of mind and body. Join us as we help build and grow a community of real, elevated men and women. If you're currently feeling frustrated, flat, and fed up with life, or want to be a physically and mentally elevated individual, you're invited to join us each and every week here on the Real Elevation podcast. Welcome to the RE family and get ready to elevate your mind and body. Welcome to the Real Elevation podcast. I'm your host Mike Hendricks, and today we have another outstanding, informative and elevating show for you. Firstly, I'd like to welcome all first-time listeners to the podcast. And be sure to stay to the end, where I will be sharing all my social media links where you can connect with me and the Real Elevation podcast community as we continue to grow and spread the word how people can find freedom through fitness. God bless and thank you once again for tuning in. I have another brilliant show ahead for you, and I am sure that this is something that many of us who are on our fitness, our health and our well-being journey like to talk about, because it's an important topic when it comes to specific exercise and the specific type of exercise, which is resistance training. Now, we all know that lifting weights such as strength training, or as I like to call it, lifting to unlock your next level, can improve your fitness and your well-being. Now, I get it. For a lot of people, or men and women over the age of 45, when it comes to weight loss, if that's their primary objective, typically what they do is think about cardio exercises. So we're talking about things such as running, climbing, doing burpees, lots of repetitive, rhythmical type exercises, doing aerobic or exercise classes, which I will never knock. Movement is great, and I'm all for people doing the right type of exercise. But if your goal is to lose fat, you want to get leaner and build strength and stay injury-free as you get older, weightlifting or resistance training is a non-negotiable. So today we're going to be talking about that. Today I'm going to be sharing 3 science-backed reasons why resistance training or weight training or strength training is essential if you're serious about fixing your weight loss woes, and how you can start to get building muscle, getting leaner, stronger, pain-free, even if you're busy, even if you're suffering with pains at the minute, or if you're unsure where to begin. So we're talking about today, fix your weight loss woes with weight training. 3 reasons why you need to lift now. So that is fix your weight loss woes with weight training. 3 reasons why you need to lift now. Now, reason number 1 is that when our resistance training boosts your resting metabolism. Now, what are we talking about when we use that phrase or that term or that word, metabolism? We're really talking about how much energy your body burns typically throughout a day, for a 24-hour period. That includes when you're resting, when you're sitting at your desk, when you're watching TV, or even when you're sleeping, your basal metabolic rate. So what we know when we're doing resistance training, we are boosting our metabolism. We are making sure that our metabolism is being optimized when we're doing resistance training, or including resistance training as part of our exercise program, our exercise workout each week. Muscle tissue is what we call metabolically active. That means the more lean muscle that you have, the more calories that you can burn just by being active. Even when you're resting, the more metabolically active you have, i.e. the more lean tissue or the lean muscle that you have, the more calories that you can burn. I say this often to my clients when I'm working with them, and I don't get too scientific with them. I tend to lose them if I go down that scientific route. But we know that there are different researchers that different papers that have been published talking about the benefits of having a higher resting or a boosted metabolism. But in simple terms, exercise is great, because when you're in the exercise, when you're doing the exercise, when you're doing your resistance training, it's great because obviously you're burning off calories. But the great thing with resistance exercise, that is, even after you finish exercise, your muscle is helping you out. It's helping you burn off extra calories because it's metabolically active. And we've seen this highlighted in many different studies and papers. One research from the Mayo Clinic which stated that for every 1 pound of muscle burns roughly around about 6 to 7 calories per day at rest, compared with fat tissue which burns roughly around about 2 calories per pound. Now that may sound like a huge amount, but over time this can add up. So if you think that your muscles are working for you to burn off 6 calories, 7 calories per day at rest, as opposed to if you have that excess fat which is only utilizing maybe around about 2 calories, obviously there's a big difference there. So if you want to get yourself leaner, if you want to get yourself more metabolically active, so your body is working for you even when you're at rest, it's all about resistance training, doing the right type of resistance training. Now, one of the action steps that you can take, you can start by doing full body resistance workout. If you've not seen those, go over to my YouTube channel. There's a few good workouts that you can do even if you don't have a huge amount of space. You can do these at home, so go check that out. I'll leave a link in the description or in the show notes. So you can focus on doing some simple resistance workouts 2-3 times a week. Don't have to be long, 10, 15 minutes, 20 minutes. Focus on these big compound movements you've heard me talk about before, like things like push-ups, squats, rows, deadlifts, using your own body weight. Obviously focusing on technique, and then you can add things like dumbbells over time. Doesn't need to be fancy. It just needs to be consistent. So that's the number one reason we're talking about today on the podcast, is resistance training boosts your resting metabolism. Okay, number 2, lifting preserves muscle while you burn fat. Now here's a kind of big mistake that a lot of people encounter, especially guys over the age of 40, 45. They often make this mistake, and I understand it because there's a lot of misinformation out there that can be misleading. And what they typically do, these guys with this mistake, is that they cut their calories and ramp up cardiovascular exercise thinking that's going to help them to lose fat fast. Now I get it. I say a lot of people say that this is the best way, just doing lots of cardio. Cut your calories, because we know that when we're in a calorie deficit, the weight is going to come down. But what usually happens? Well, they lose weight, but a lot of that weight that they lose is muscle weight, lean tissue, and that's exactly what we don't want. That is a problem. Losing muscle makes you look softer. Yeah, we don't want to look softer. It can help you to become weaker. We don't want to become weaker. And you're more likely to regain fat when you're doing too much cardio and not enough resistance training. And we know that if you're over the age of 40, we know that muscle is typically already on a decrease or decline after that age. Now, obviously, resistance training can help with that, but if you're not engaged in resistance training, you're doing lots of cardiovascular exercise in the hope that you're going to lose weight, it's going to just make you softer and weaker without the right inclusion and the right balance of resistance training. So we know that doing too much of that over a period of time, especially over the age of 40, will become softer and weaker. So what do we do? Well, a study that was published in 2018 in the Obesity Journal found that people who had dieted and added resistance training preserved significantly more muscle mass and lost more fat than those who did just dieting or just did cardiovascular exercise by itself on its own. Yeah. So we know that if you are doing resistance training and your goal is to lose weight, get lighter, get leaner, you're more likely to do that as opposed to people who just focus on calorie cutting or dieting or just doing cardiovascular exercise alone. So what's an action step? What is an action step that you can take? So it's obvious, isn't it? It's combining the two, making sure that you're getting the right blend of cardiovascular exercise and also doing the right blend balance or inclusion of resistance exercise. So combine a resistance training with moderate calorie control, not just crash diets and not just focusing on cardio. Making sure that you eat the right amount of protein. Aim for about 0.1 grams or 1 gram per pound of body weight that you have. Again, if you've not used that equation before, which is a common equation, I'll leave a link in the show notes so you can know exactly how to work it out, so you're eating the right amount of protein for yourself. Eat right for your type. You've heard me say that before. We all have different requirements, so understanding what your primal type is key to making sure that you're getting the right amount of calories in for you. And making sure that you're lifting weights, I would recommend anything from 2 to 4 times a week to maintain good muscle mass, or if you're looking to build, get a bit leaner. For those guys who want to get a little bit more athletic in their physique, 2 to 4 times a week, and you'll see that you'll become much more resistant, more robust, more resilient physically and mentally, and obviously much more stronger, much more leaner. So make sure that you're getting the right blend of combining resistance training and also eating right and making sure you're getting the right amount of cardiovascular exercise in as well. So what is it we're talking about today? We're talking about resistance training, and we're talking about fixing your weight loss woes. 3 reasons why you need to lift now. Yep, fix your weight loss woes. And we're talking about specifically weight training. 3 reasons why you need to lift now. So we spoke about number 1, making sure that we include resistance training in our weekly workouts because it helps with our resting metabolism. Number 2, lifting preserves muscle while you burn fat. So obviously for most people who want to get their weight down or want to manage their weight effectively, they often want to burn off excess fat as well. And lifting helps preserve muscle while you are doing that. And number 3, strength training improves hormones and lowers belly fat. Now for men and women over the age of 40, belly fat isn't just a common cosmetic issue that people struggle with. It's often a hormonal one. And again, this is something I speak to my clients about in a lot of detail. If you see someone with excess abdominal fat, it's typically, especially guys, linked to low testosterone, higher estrogen, increased cortisol, and a level of insulin resistance. Now, you've probably all heard of those different hormones in the body, maybe not sure exactly what their purpose or their role is, but we can kind of surmise that if someone is struggling with reducing excess body fat, especially around the abdominal area, it's linked to probably low testosterone, high estrogen levels, increased cortisol levels, and also there's a level of insulin resistance that's put them in that situation. And that has also ripple effects in other areas as well. We know that it can wreck the energy levels, it can have issues affecting your libido, can affect your mood, your motivation. So we need to make sure that we've got the right blend and balance with our hormones. So what's the solution? Well, the simple solution is obviously resistance training, making sure we're doing the right type of lifting each and every week to help combat and get a better balance between those key hormones. We know that a study that was done at Harvard School of Public Health found that especially men who lifted weights for just 20 minutes a day gained significantly less belly fat over a 12-year period compared to men who did only cardio. So we can see the benefits of making sure that we're doing resistance training consistently, and as this study suggested, just for 20 minutes a day, gain significantly less abdominal fat, so in around that midsection, compared to the guys who did only cardio. So resistance training is very important. Resistance training helps regulate insulin. It helps us to boost our testosterone levels and reduces chronic inflammation. I work with special populations on this special program for people who come in with many different conditions such as back pain, osteoarthritis, rheumatoid arthritis, chronic fatigue, all these different ailments and issues, fibromyalgia, and they're all of them, to a man and a woman, say that they want to be able to do more. They want to be able to increase their physical capacity, even though they may have these pain issues. Now, the primary thing that we do with these guys is get them in a position where they're mobile, they're flexible, they've got good basic cardiovascular strength. But all of them, and this is all of them, say that they've found the biggest benefit is when they feel that they're doing exercise that helps them feel stronger. So that's lifting weights. It might only be a small amount of weight for many of these people, or it might only be lifting their body weight. But if they can get in and out of a chair much more effectively, maybe than when they started the program, or in and out of their car, or lifting themselves up off the toilet without any pain much more easily, they feel like they're making some huge progress, because it's something that we really struggled to do before. So we know the importance of getting strong, especially as we get older. So one of the action steps that you can do, you can incorporate strength-based movements that challenge your body, but don't trash your joints. So as I spoke about it, a lot of these exercises that we get these guys to do, they're not hard, they're not intense, they're not something that's going to place a huge amount of stress or strain on the joints. It's a simple exercise that helps get it moving optimally. So think of things such as using TRX straps. You may have seen those before. If not, again, check out some exercises I've got over on the YouTube channel. Things like dumbbell presses using light dumbbells, or one of my favorite exercise tools is the kettlebell. Such a fantastic and versatile tool. You can do many different exercises, and regardless of your age and ability, the kettlebell will offer you a challenge, but it can be done in a safe and effective way. If you've had an injury, if you've had or struggling with any kind of pain, the kettlebell is a fantastic tool. So making sure that we're including strength training, regardless of where you are in your journey, because it helps with regulating hormones and lowers belly fat. We know that from that study. Alright guys, so they are the 3 reasons we're talking about today, how you can fix your weight loss woes with weight training. 3 reasons why you need to lift right now. Number 1, resistance training that boosts your resting metabolism. Number 2, lifting preserves muscle while you burn fat. And as we've just said there, strength training improves hormones and lowers body fat. That's number 3. So there you have it, guys. They're the 3 reasons why you, if you're not at the moment, need to consider including resistance training, weight training. And listen, you don't have to become a bodybuilder. You don't even need a gym. You just need a simple, sustainable plan that fits into your lifestyle, that you can do consistently and as evolves over time as you do. Now, what I'm inviting you to consider, if you're ready to stop spinning the wheels and you're sick of those cardio long boring workouts, you're sick of the fad diets, and you want to start building a body that's strong, that's lean, that's pain-free, I've got something for you. So I'm going to leave a link in the show notes again, where you can just fill out the application form and we can talk about how you can get involved in our Real Rejuvenation program designed for busy men and women over the age of 45 who want to reclaim their fitness and health without spending long boring hours in the gym in the next 90 days. So do you want to talk about that? I'm inviting you to consider that. I'll leave a link in the show notes. You can fill that out and we can have a conversation and find out a little bit more about you. Alright guys, a brilliant episode. I'm trusting that you found that insightful, uplifting and elevating. Remember to leave us a 5-star review. Share the podcast with your circle of influence, your connections, because each week we get more and more downloads, and that's down to you. And I'm truly grateful and appreciate for doing that. So continue to do that, please. Alright guys, until next time, remember, be well, be wise, be cool, be calm, keep it real. Blessings and chi. Peace.